Okay, it says we are live.
Perfect.
I'm going to let a couple of you guys join in real fast before we kick this off. Okay. I'm sure they'll start rolling here. There we go. Got it. All right. So we didn't have a show last week. If you guys watched PJ's Periscope, I'm sure you guys did a great job. He nailed all of the picks. But I'm back this week. Our show's back. You're probably wondering what's going on because there was a previous live show. Well, I got some new software that I'm trying to roll out for the show, and it's really good. It's going to be useful for us, and just very excited. But obviously got to work on that a couple of days here. So we're going to stick to our Google Hangouts. We should be having it out next week, hopefully. So that being said, let's get right into it. The CokeZero 400 is tonight. I think the Xfinity race is going on as we speak. So
I just saw one to go.
yeah, one to go. So who's winning? Are you watching
I
it?
actually don't know. No, I got it up on Twitter right now.
Oh Lord.
Now
Okay.
they're going
Hopefully.
overtime. So
Yeah, it's probably take forever. But anyways, CokeZero 400 is coming up at 7:30. The weather forecast is iffy at best. It's the weather down there is crazy. It's a spot shower every now and then, so you really got to beware of that. But as far as DFS goes, it won't affect us much. If they do race halfway, it could get wild and a bunch of wrecks could happen. So, with that being said, we're going to go back to our old format, which is starting positions, and we're going to do 30 through 40. I think that's how many cars are in the field 20
yep.
through 30, 10 through 20, 1 through 10. I probably said that wrong, and oh well. But we're going to start out with just talking about Dale Jr. real fast because this is his last Cup race at Daytona. And if you know, his father, Dale Earnhardt Sr., died in a crash here. And this has always been a special place. It's the Earnhardt. It's basically the Earnhardt track. And I've had the privilege, I'm sure you guys have too, of watching him over the years. But what better way to send him out this year than have him win at Daytona? He starts on the pole. We'll get into him later on, but I just wanted to throw it out there. It's going to be an awesome race, and I'm rooting for him. I normally don't, but in DFS wise, I'm probably not going to be rooting for him. But as a fan, I would love to see him win. PJ, you got any thoughts on Dale Jr. before we kick this off?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely the same. It's going to be his best chance, to make it into the chase or the playoffs or whatever the heck they call it now. It's obviously his best chance. Starting on the pole, he's the best at being up front and dictating, where the runs are going to just knowing where the runs are going to come from and blocking them. And he's the best out when he's out front to staying out front, I think. So it's interesting. It'll be really, really cool to see him win. Like one of my most fondest memories of Junior is winning the July race after his father passed, and him and Michael Waltrip with the embrace in the infield. And that was incredible. So I think to win the last one, well, allegedly his last one, who knows? He might come back for the 500 or something.
Yeah.
But regardless, in his last full season, it would be pretty badass, honestly, to see him win tonight. I think he needs it. The sport needs it for right now. So I think that would be awesome. DFS-wise, I have him in 2 out of 50 lineups.
Yeah, and for me, I'm not going to have him in any, but we'll get to that later. Yeah. That's probably going to be a hot topic. But to start out with, like I said, we're going to start with the guys in the back. And if you are smart at NASCAR DFS, you know this is where you're going to want to spread your exposure to. And we're going to try to tell you the guys that we probably have a little bit more of in this back. So start out with, we're going to start talking about let's just break it down into like 3 and 4 drivers. Reed Sorensen, Ryan Sieg, Jeffrey Earnhardt, DJ Kennington. For me, if you're going to give me those 4 drivers. Jeffrey Earnhardt, he always seems to find a way to bite me in the butt. When I pick him, he's But starting 39th, if I had to pick one of these guys, it's going to be him or Ryan Sieg. I know a lot of people like Reed Sorensen, and yeah, I understand that. But for me, I'd rather have he's not been in the series very long. He just got this rod from Corey LaJoie. So, but he's shown tremendous potential in the Xfinity series. He's a really good racer. And if I want to trust one of those guys, which I know this is Cup and you got to have people that draft with you and all that stuff. But for me, I have a really good feeling about Sieg. But again, we're just going to spread our exposure to these guys. And, out of those 4, I like Sieg and Jeffrey Earnhardt. Who are the guys 37 through 40 do you like?
Sieg and Sorensen. Not much more to say. Just that they're starting that far back. And like you said, I mean, that's the restrictor plate strategy. You want to try and play as many guys as you can, 30th to 40th, and you want them to move up. It's all place differential and finishing position, but more place differential than anything. So Daytona's been good to me. I think we had touched on it. I finished second in the GPP for the 500 this year, so I'm really looking forward to tonight's race. Try and hopefully get back, to that spot. Those are the 2 there, but I like guys a little bit above them a lot more.
Yeah, me too. We're going to touch on those guys right here. So let's just go ahead 30 through 36 and start out with the guy that I really like. Well, there's a couple, like we said. There's a couple guys we like in here. I'm just going to touch base on Cole Witt. This guy surprised a lot of us early on in the year. He's running in a little bit better equipment than most of these guys, which equipment doesn't really matter because you're at Daytona. All the cars are equal, supposed to be equal, but sometimes, it doesn't look like that. But Cole Witt, he's put together some solid finishes, I think, in the 500. Or there's a couple of restricted plates early on this year that he really impressed us. So, for me, Cole Witt's a guy that I can trust. That's hard to say I can trust, but, I mean, he has proven that he can get up there, mix it up, and battle for a top 15. And like you said, he's starting 35th. You need a guy that's going to come. At this point, you would want him to come in the top 20 for place differential. And another guy I'm going to touch base on, I'll let you get your thoughts on these guys here in a second too, is a guy starting right in front of him, Ty Dillon. Ty Dillon starting 34th, and he was winning the Xfinity race like 15 minutes ago. When I quit watching, I think him and someone got wrecked. So Ty Dillon is a really good restrictor plate racer. So is his brother, Austin Dillon. They seem to have a knack for these kind of tracks. I can trust the Dillon brothers to lead us to the glory land tonight. And I think Ty Dillon's probably going to be one of the heavier on drivers tonight just because he starts back, 34th. So
right.
I'm gonna let you get your thoughts on those 2 guys.
Yeah, I like them both a ton. I think Cole Witt's going to be underowned, which I'm going to be overweight on the field, at least try to. I like him a ton because, like you said, a lot of people are going to go to Dillon. I like Ty Dillon a ton. Like, I'm going to try and match the field, but I'm going to try and be over the field on Cole Witt just because name recognition alone, people aren't going to play Cole Witt because they just don't even know who he is.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at.
What's your thoughts on Ty Dillon?
I like Ty Dillon a ton. Like, I'm probably going to match the field. I'm having a hard time deciding. I think he's going to be anywhere from 40 to 50%. If I had it, well, that's where that's where he should be. So that's probably where I'll land, is somewhere in there. Yeah, it's always curious to, like, because if you're getting new players, it's hard to tell. Like, if you're getting new players at this time of year, they're not going to know necessarily to play guys from the back of the field. And so the ownership might not get to that point. However, if you're not getting any new players and you're getting all the guys that have been playing all year long, well, guess what? The industry as a whole is now very, very smart when it comes to super speedways. So for anyone who reads anything NASCAR related DFS wise is probably going to play Ty Dillon. It's hard to gauge exactly how many people that is. So for me, like I said, it's going to be 40 to 50% on Ty.
Yep, and I think Roto Grinders seems to pump him up so much. Stevie, which he's great at NASCAR. He pumps Ty Dillon up a lot, so I'm sure he's going to be very high owned.
Oh yeah. Well, they're personal friends too, so
I don't blame him.
Yeah.
The next guy on the list is Elliott Sadler. This is probably going to be the guy I have the most exposure to in the whole field tonight. And, it's this guy, he's like Michael Waltrip now. He seems to only run these tracks, the super speedways, the plate tracks. But Elliott Sadler's been there. He's done that. He was leading the Xfinity race earlier. I mean, he's just a pro. He's a veteran. And when you come to these tracks, this is what's going to happen. And for you guys that are going to pick him, Elliott Sadler's going to hang out in the back. I can almost guarantee he's going to hang out in the back until with like 20 to 30 to go. That's when Elliott Sadler is going to make his move. Elliott Sadler's just one of them guys. He's patient. He wants to avoid the wrecks, and he wants to have a chance at the end. And that is so important here. I cannot stress it enough. You want a guy that's going to be able to finish the race, miss the big wreck, and he is very capable of doing it. I have seemed to pick him heavy at every restrictor plate race this season. I don't see any reason not to do it again today. And like I said, I'm going to have the most exposure to him. It's something I'm very comfortable with. I know it's hard to say from a guy that's not a regular. So that's where I am. I think he's probably one of the best plays on the board, and he's probably going to have a top 5 DFS night. And I think he's going to be in the winning lineup. I can say that with courage and conviction. What about you?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I'm gonna be overweight, just like the same exact way I am on Cole Whitt. I'm treating him exactly like Cole Whitt. I like them both a lot. There's really not much more to say. He ended up finishing second in the Xfinity race. It's just proven time and time again. What's that?
Who won the race?
William Byron.
Oh, wow.
Back to back. So, I mean, after Denny got him, now he's on a roll. But,
yeah.
I mean, Elliott Sadler is just, you get a veteran at a place like this, a decent enough car. We saw what he did in the 500. I honestly forget off the top of my head where he had finished. He was in my lineup, though. That came in second. He started 38th. It was in the top 20. I just forget where in the top 20. But yeah, to me, it's a no-brainer on Elliott Sadler. Again, it's literally just the same thing as Cole Whitt. Not the casual player is going to know who Elliott Sadler is. So I like him a ton. Majority of my ownership is from 31 through 35.
Yep, me too. So. Let's move on to let's talk about Brendan Gaughan. He's basically just like Elliott Sadler. Yep. He runs in the Xfinity series, and not a lot of people are going to know who he is because they're going to look at his race log and they're like, wow, where's this guy? He's not raced the past couple of weeks. I can't trust him. That's the average player is not going to know that. So, again, I like Elliott Sadler a little bit better. But Brendan Gaughan, he's going to be right up there. I think he's just had some unlucky events where he's been in some wrecks. So he's a little bit riskier of a play because I think he's going to hang out in the back, but he tends to jump up there a little bit earlier than Elliott Sadler, and he gets caught up in some weird stuff. So
yeah,
I prefer Sadler over Brendan Gaughan. But, I mean, at this point, like I said, you want to spread your exposure 30 through 40, and that's where you're going to win your money this week. And just touch base on Darrell Wallace and David Reagan. Bubba Wallace is a great pick this week. He starts 31st. What more could you ask for? He's been all right, I guess, in Xfinity and at plate tracks. He's not been the best, but I think he's going to have a lot of help, especially, if he gets up there with Blaney and a couple of them other guys that are his friends. They can trust him, and he's going to have a little bit more help than some of these guys. So he's a very good pick. He's probably not the best at avoiding wrecks. That's the only thing with him. Like Sadler, like I said, I like Sadler the best out of these guys and Ty Dillon. But like I said, just spread your exposure. Same thing goes with David Reagan. I have a lot of David Reagan this week. I think he's one of he's one of my top 3 or 4 plays with Elliott Sadler. But just because, I'm pretty sure he won at Daytona. He won this race like it's been forever ago, it seems like. But he's
2004?
No, I think it was 8 or 9 or 6. I don't know, something like that.
I might be wrong. I know the car had the weird ass spoiler on it. What was it?
I think he was a UPS car, and the car of tomorrow.
Yeah,
car of tomorrow, maybe.
Yes,
but him and Landon Castle. If Landon Castle was starting back here, I'd like him too. But David Reagan he's always up there in the top 20 in these races. Whether he gets swept up in a wreck or not, that's just bad luck in his part. But he's always up there, and excuse me, but he's going to be up there. He's probably going to challenge for top 10. He seems to do very well in avoiding wrecks, and at this point, you got to be in the right spot at the right time, and David Reagan seems to be that guy most of the time. So I really like him as well.
That was way more recent than I thought. Not to interrupt you. That was way more recent than I thought. 2011.
11, man. Yeah, that was. But I'm going to get your thoughts here on Bubba Wallace, Brendan Gaughan, and David Reagan.
Yeah, I'm just going to echo exactly what you said. I like Bubba quite a bit. It is a little scary to play Bubba, but because he's not really used to how all these guys run yet, and he is a little more reckless, and he's not quite as scared about tearing up equipment as these other guys are. So that's a little pause for concern, but I like David Reagan a ton. I like Brendan Gaughan a ton. It's just where the majority of the ownership is going to be for me is all these guys. It's literally the same exact story. It's all about place differential. That's how you got to play this. Look at Talladega, right? Like Stenhouse won the race from the pole, was not in the winning lineup.
Yep.
That's it.
Let's talk about this for 1 sec, because I had a couple people asking me earlier who I liked. There's DMing me asking me, who do I like this week and stuff. And quickly they showed me a lineup, and there was a couple of them, not just 1 or 2 people. There was like 3 or 4, and they showed me their lineups. I'm like, well, let's see who you like. And a lot of them, they were getting top 10 cars, top 15, and they were not leaving money on the table. I think that's another thing we need to talk about here real fast. When you pick all these guys in the back, don't expect to have like $500 left.
Right.
When you pick all these guys in the back, you want to have money on the table. This week, the Daytona races, Talladega races, and sometimes, road courses, you want to have money on the table, and you really want to differentiate yourself. This week is the week you need to. I think in my cash lineup, I have like 8,800 left, something like that. It's if you have like $100 remaining and you're picking guys in the top 20. I'm sorry, that's just not going to. That's just not how it's going to go.
Nope.
It's going to be guys. You got Truex, and I think I went as high as Larson. That's the bulk. 20th on back, and even more 25, 28 on back. That's what you want to do this week. A lot of people, and I cannot stress this enough, they're going to be inexperienced. They're going to pick these guys. You want to have an advantage on them. So just play it smart and do that. You will beat a lot of people just by playing the right strategy. And this week, this is the week that you have to play it right.
Yeah.
If you play guys in the top 10, top 15, you will not cash, which you may play one, and they lead a bunch of laps. But, it's just too risky, and it's not the optimal strategy.
Right. One guy in the top 10, if any, for a lineup. Max. One guy from the top 10 in your lineup. If you play more than one, I promise you will lose. And even, whatever. If your goal is to even min cash, you will not even min cash if you play 2 drivers in the top 10. It is just not going to happen. We have way too much data on these races it's not worth it. Like, it's just don't get cute. The winning lineup I had from Daytona had 4,800 left over. It's just what it is. Like, you don't worry about salary. Notice we have not said one salary this entire show because it doesn't matter.
Yeah. That's normally how we do things, but once again, you have to do that or you will not cash. And I just got a quick mention on Twitter. Eric tweeted at us, so 1,200 left in cash, too much.
Well,
I think that's not enough. I think 1,200, that's a lot on any other week, but this week, I'm going to say you might want to reconsider it, get more drivers in the back. If you're watching, just I want to see who you have in your lineup first.
I'm trying to do it right now.
He says I have Sadler, Wallace, Dillon, even, and no top 10s. All right, just do no top 20s. I think that'll eliminate a couple of dollars right there.
Yeah, because see, I don't mind Hamlin and Kyle Busch in GPPs, but not cash. Like, I think those are nice plays for GPPs because the really intelligent NASCAR the really intelligent guys are going to play them because they're great GPP plays. So if you're completely new to this, you're going to play guys in the top 10. But then if you're also completely new to this and you have read something on, Daytona and the strategy and all that, you're going to play all 30 through 40. Okay. So that's going to leave you from like 15th probably through 22nd of guys that are just in freaking no man's land. So for me, you like Denny Hamlin. I think Denny Hamlin is a great GPP option because he's so good at Daytona. He's proven it over and over again. Kyle Busch starting 16th. I think that's a great GPP play, but that makes, to me, 0 cents in cash. There's too much downside. If they wreck, you're done. Guys that wreck 30th on back, there's not that much downside. That's how you have to play your cash games.
Yep, and he tweeted, he said he's got Kyle. I'm going to assume, I don't know if he's talking about Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Truex, Sadler, Wallace, Dillon.
So I think that's a great GPP lineup. That's way too much risk for cash. Way too much.
Yeah. Yeah, just listen to PJ on that. That's exactly how I feel about that. So, Eric, if you're doing cash, reconsider Hamlin. And if that's Kyle Busch, maybe reconsider that. Put Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson quite a bit this week.
Yeah, like you don't mind him in cash, but honestly, you don't even have to go there. Like if the highest up you go is Truex, just because you want to spend some of your money, fine. But like, I don't want to like completely just give out like a cash lineup. But I'm gonna tell you right now what I have left on the cash lineup, and it's 10,700.
Yeah.
So. Like, just play the guys from the back, like I said, in cash. Like at this race, you have to assume that they're going to wreck. You 100% have to assume that every driver you pick is going to wreck. So for your cash games, you need to have the highest floor. You don't need to have the highest ceiling. You need to have the highest floor. And the highest floor is the least amount of points you can lose on position. So That's the whole thing. Like, even Truex for me is a little not risky, but it's a little risky in cash.
Yep, and he said it was Kyle Busch. So yeah, if you're doing the cash lineup, get rid of Hamlin and Kyle Busch.
I like that. I like where his head is at though, but just not for cash. That's all.
Yeah. Put that line up
in something.
He said he put Cole Witt. He said he put Cole Witt in. So yeah, Cole Witt, great pick. So we'll move on from that. Yeah, we'll move on from that. We're going to talk about the next range. And like you were saying, no man's land, 10 through 20. This could be a no man's land too, depending on who you pick. But I think the consensus 20 through 30 is Martin Truex. And I think he's going to be I don't know if him or Sadler. I think Truex is going to be the highest owned driver just
No
because
doubt.
people are going to spread their exposure to 30 through 40.
Yeah.
But the guys outside of the 30 through 40, this is going to be the guy. And like I said, I have him in my cash lineup. I'm sure PJ has him in his cash lineup too, correct?
So I normally do one cash lineup. I'm thinking about doing two tonight just because I don't know why, but like there's just a little part of me that if you go Truex, I think you're going to have the same lineup as a bunch of people, and that's fine. That's fine in cash. That it is. It's whatever. Like it's just a wash. But there's also a way that I'm going to go, and I'm not even going to play guys that high up. And I know he's only 25th, but again, if he wrecks, that's 40th. That's minus 15 place differential. That's It's tough, man. That's why I think I'm going to have two. And he's definitely going to be the highest owned because people have a ton of money to spend this week, so it's not an option. Well, it's not that it's not an option, but there's no problem to get him in. So,
yep, agreed. So that's what we think about Mark Truex. I'm just going to name off some drivers here. You tell me if you're interested in them or not. We'll talk about them. Chris Buescher.
Hell yes.
Yeah, I would agree too. Chris Buescher is a guy that's going to be really sneaky. I think, the majority of people, they're going to look 30 through 40, and then they're going to think, well, 29th, yeah, let's just move up some. So right here, before Truex and after Reagan, you got 29, 28, 27, 26. You got guys like Castle, Allmendinger, DiBenedetto, and Buescher. Chris Buescher is my favorite play out of those guys. Normally, I would say A.J. Allmendinger, but for whatever reason, he always wrecks at these tracks. He finds himself the trouble. He caused the wreck at Talladega. He was doing great. He got under Chase Elliott, and, we don't even need to say anything else about that. Chris Buescher, he seems to always be in the top 20. He's lurking for a top 10, top 15 at these tracks. Really solid. He's a smart driver, and he can drive the wheels off of a car. He is a former Xfinity champion. Lock him and load him. That's how I feel about him.
Yeah, I agree on Buescher. I 100% like him a ton. In 3 races at Daytona, he's over 3 in finishing. So that's a bit of a bummer. But he's going to be much lower owned than those other guys. So guess what? That's how you have to play it. So. And the one you met, Allmendinger, I'm totally off Allmendinger. In 16 races here, he's got 7 top 20s. He is just something about plate racing. Does not agree with him. I do not like him. But I'll tell you what, the sneaky guy right here, the two of them, honestly. Castle is I know it's just 26 through 28. My guy is DiBenedetto. I like DiBenedetto a lot, actually.
Please explain yourself. Please.
Nothing to explain. 28th. No one's going to play him. It's an ownership play. There's less downside to him than Castle. There is just as much upside to him as Chris Buescher. So there's not really much more to explain than other than you're probably going to get him criminally owned starting 28th at Daytona when anybody in the field has a chance of coming in the top 10.
I think he may be like 0.7% owned. He might be that guy this week.
No. If he's that, I will just start dancing. I will just start dancing right away.
There's always that one guy that's 0.7. I think he's starting high enough.
Oh gosh, I hope
that a lot of people are just going to overlook it.
Oh my god, I'm going to have 70 times the field on him then.
Yeah. That's, once you start thinking about it. I mean, I think Castle, too. I think a lot of people are going to see him starting 26th, and they're going to look at Truex and Paul Menard right in front of him. Yeah. They're not going to think twice about it. So, that being said, we talked about Truex. We talked about those guys. Let's move on to Paul Menard, Michael McDowell, Ryan Newman, Kyle Larson, and Daniel Suarez. All great plays for me, in GPP. For me, like I said, I like Kyle Larson a little bit in cash. It's so risky.
Yeah.
But the way he's been racing lately, last week he obviously wasn't, the great play like a lot of people thought he would be. I'm looking for a bounce back week. I'm looking for him to, keep his car clean and be there at the end. So that's how I feel about Kyle Larson. What's your thoughts on Kyle Larson before we move on?
I like Larson. I'm just going to match the field. I'm going to try to match the field or be a little bit underweight, actually, on Larson. I won't be over. Again, just because starting 21st is just a little more risk there than – but I get it. Like, I mean, he was second in the 500. I totally get it. It's a good play. It is a good play. I'm just not going to have as much because I think, like, between Larson and Truex, those have been the dominant cars all year long. But when they come to a place like this, it doesn't matter nearly as much. So, but that's the thing where everybody's going to go because of name recognition and, how they're running right now. And it's just that's fresh in everybody's mind. And for me, it's just you got to play the ownership game at super speedways. It's the only way.
Yep. And here's a guy, Michael McDowell. I think people are not going to play him. And I think in GPP, I think it goes to Benedetto. I think this is a guy you really got to watch out for because I'm pretty sure he came in the top 12 or top 10 at one of these restrictor plate races this year. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm almost certain he put together a really good race at one of these and surprised a lot of us. But for me, starting 23rd, name recognition again, starting 20, it's right here in this boundary. You'd rather have Paul Menard, I would say, Ryan Newman. Those names ring a bell. Michael McDowell doesn't do that. So it goes back to what PJ was saying about the Benedetto. I think it's the same argument. Let's talk about Paul Menard real fast too. Paul Menard is a guy that I normally love at restrictor plate racing. He's awesome at it. I think a couple years ago, I think it was last year, in the shootout at the beginning of the year, I had him and, I killed it. I had him in the majority of my lineups. I doubled him on the field and I loved it. Today, tonight, whatever. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I feel about him.
I think he's getting too much buzz for my liking.
Mine too, because when I start thinking about it, it makes so much sense to play him. But then again, he starts 24th and, if something does happen, he falls back and you're thinking to yourself, why did I play Paul Menard? But that's how it's going to be with everybody. Like I said, he's getting a little too much buzz for my liking. And, he's Paul Menard. He's underwhelming most of the time. He's going to bite you in the butt more, and he's going to, help you. But, he's just, that's how I feel about him. You can play him. You cannot play him. I ain't going to have any hard feelings for not having a lot of him. Obviously, it comes in top 5. It's going to kill me. But, he's just a meh play.
Yeah, you can't have none. But to me, you can't have a ton. Like I've seen he's been the cover boy in a couple of these DFS articles this week. So for me, that's just weird, and I don't want much of him.
I as well.
That's really all I got. I like McDowell too. It's just so my same exact argument is why I liked Benedetto so much because the Benedetto was starting 5 positions further back. McDowell was actually 10th here last year in this race. So, again, it's I think that's sneaky. I wouldn't have a ton just because there is more downside there than you would really want. But I think it is a sneaky play. So,
I'm going to let you take over this. Ryan Newman.
Well, come on, man. What more is there to say? What more is there to say? Hey. Somebody asked me last week on Periscope, Newman or Kane. How'd Casey Kane work out?
Yeah.
Get out.
Don't even get me started.
Give me the wily veteran. I mean, I'm fine with Newman. It doesn't really. I think he's gonna be low owned, and not again. This has zero to do with price this week, but he's like in stupidly cheap. So it's just weird. Like I don't even know if people will go down to like that area just because it's whatever. And he's starting 22nd. It's a no man's land play. No man's land play. So I'm
Yep,
obviously
I
gonna have
agree.
my share of them. I always do, but I don't
Yeah.
love it.
Here's a guy, it's very interesting. Daniel Suarez, that he drives for Gibbs, and they seem to be awesome at these tracks. I don't know. I'm not in love with him at these kind of tracks, other than, like I said, other than the fact what equipment he's in. You
Yeah.
know, I really don't know what to say. He's a rookie, and I don't think a lot of people, when they see that 19 car, they're not going to get behind him. They're going to try to maneuver away from him.
Yep.
And I don't think he's going to have the support that he's going to need late in the race. I could see him running 12th on last lap, and people are not going to go with him. 2 laps to go, they're going to try to, unless Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, or Matt Kenseth is behind him. He's going to get left in the dust, and he's probably going to look good, but he's not. He's going to turn out not to be good. So that's a simple fact for him. I don't think the NASCAR community, the drivers, I don't think they have enough respect for him yet. I think they love Eric Jones, but they're not sold on Daniel Suarez at this track. That's just my 2 cents about it. That's more of a game theory type thing. I'm trying to think past what I should be, I guess. But, what do you think about Daniel Suarez?
I'm not gonna have much. I really don't even have much more to say. It's just he's right in the middle of the field. It's to me at this point, starting that high up, there's more that can go wrong that can go right for a guy like Suarez, like being so new to all the restrictor plate stuff. So I don't have much Suarez.
Yep. So let's see here. That does the top 20 for us. And, to get to this range, this is all GPP from here.
Yep. You just honestly just group them like 15 through 19. I mean, it's just kind of where it's at right now. It's just
okay. Let's talk about one guy before we start grouping. Austin Dillon. Here's the thing. I know you were talking before the show. He's got a great average finish at this track and all that.
The highest among active drivers. The highest.
He's getting so pumped up in the community. I've seen multiple people be on him this week. And is he really going to be a good GPP play if everybody's on him? I think he's a good GPP fade for me because here's the thing. I know he's finished races and he seems to do really well here. But at some point, that average finish is going to take a hit. It's going to take a hit and he's going to have a DNF or two. So in a week that, I would love to pick him if everybody was not on him, but I see a lot of people talking about him. And most of the time, when this happens, this is just blasphemy coming from me right now. But most of the time, when we're so sold on like 1 or 2 guys, that's not a big name. He's not a big name. Obviously, he won a race earlier this year, but I don't know. I have a weird feeling about tonight for him. I think it's either going to bite me in the butt or it's going to help me win some money because I think a lot of people are going to be on him. I think he's going to be one of the higher owned GPP plays just because he starts 19th. But I don't know. I'm going to let you take it away with that. I don't know. I think he's like Daniel Suarez for me. I think I'm just going to stay away from him. Yep. I'm going to have him in a couple. But it's just a feeling thing for me this week.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, man. We're lucky that he's still on this earth from this race. No, really, though. Like, do you remember that crash?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That was probably one of the scariest crashes that I've seen in a long time. He's only – so here's my thing and my argument against him because I don't like him either. But so 8 races. He's got no DNFs, but it's only 8 races. That's why his average finishing position is so high. I don't like him because, like you said, it's going to be too many people on him to make him a great play. Give me Denny Hamlin in front of him over and over again before I play Austin, just because I don't know if that many people will go there, and that people don't realize how good Denny is here.
Really, Denny Hamlin is a top 5 restrictor plate driver. He's always near the front. He's known as one of the best pushers in racing,
Right.
at these tracks. And he's built that reputation up. And it's crazy, you would be thinking, Denny Hamlin or Austin Dillon, who these people are going to talk about. They're talking about Austin Dillon.
Right.
They should be talking about Denny Hamlin.
100%.
It makes no sense to me, like you said. I like Denny Hamlin. He's a very good GPP play, and in a week he should be higher owned than Austin Dillon. Take advantage, get you more Denny Hamlin. Odds are he's going to have a better chance at winning the race than Austin Dillon too. So that's how we feel on it. I think we came to a mutual agreement on that.
Yeah, 100%.
And here we're going to group these drivers here: Eric Jones, Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch won at this track earlier on in the season, Daytona 500. Odds are, when something great like that happens, you return here and you struggle or you get caught up in some bad luck. I don't know what it is, but I'm not on Kurt Busch. I'd rather have Kyle Busch or Eric Jones even. I know Kurt Busch is a very good racer at these restrictor plates. But again, it's just one of them feel things. And I've been bit in the butt before, but I've also been very generous to me when I do have these feelings. So whenever I have a feeling like this, I go with it. It's a gut feeling top play.
Yeah.
He's a great play if you don't have a bad gut feeling like I do. So, and Kyle Busch, I'm sure at some point tonight Kyle Busch is going to lead laps. The question is, can he stay in the race? He's so aggressive sometimes it kills him. And I forget, what track was it that he broke his leg? Was it Daytona?
It was here. Yep. In the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, so always those bad memories comes to haunt some drivers. I don't know what it is, but Kyle Busch, he's a good GPP play. I think out of this range, I think he's probably going to be the highest owned guy other than Austin Dillon, just because they see Kyle Busch and everybody's been on him lately. So that's how I feel about those guys. What's your thoughts on those three?
Yeah, exactly. So here's just a little insight on how I'm mixing these guys in. I'm playing everybody so everybody from 25th on back, and then that one spot that is not, I'm mixing in one of these guys. Don't go throwing Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, and Austin Dillon in one lineup. Don't do that. Like, just mix in one. I'm okay with two from 15th through 20th, but that is extremely risky. But I'm still okay with it because you might at that point find yourself on a unique lineup, because that's the other thing about this. So now that everybody knows start guys in the back, you're going to have a ton of similar lineups. So the whole thing is, okay, well, how do I not have a similar lineup? Because if it does finish first, how do I win all the money and not split it with 60 people? That's another big part of restrictor plate DFS, because it's happened. I mean, I finished second because I tied. So it's technically a win for a GPP, but it wasn't. It wasn't a sole win. And to me, that's what you're searching for. You're searching for that. You're the only one on this lineup. So to me, if you do have two guys from this range and then guys from 25th on back, it could give you a unique lineup. And if they finish, say, 1-2, if Denny Hamlin goes number 1, Kyle Busch goes 2, then you're onto something if your guys move up. Other than that, it's too much.
Some very good advice right there. I think it's very helpful. So that being said, we've covered the 15 through 40. Here's where I'm not even sure, for whatever reason, a lot of people are going to pick these drivers. They're going to see Jimmy Johnson. They're like, well, this guy's a 7-time champion. Let's put him in our lineup. They're going to see guys like, Blaney, Logano, Harvick, Keselowski, Chase Elliott, Dale Jr. Of course they're going to pick Dale Jr. It's Daytona. Why not? But let's just talk about all these guys. We're just going to touch base on a couple because I think, we have the same feeling towards all these guys.
Yep.
Let's just start with the very top. Dale Jr., we touched base on it. As a fan, NASCAR fan, I would love to see him win this race.
Yep.
But he's had some of the worst luck at these restrictor plate races lately. I mean, it's crazy, I forget if it was last year or I think it was last year, dominant all weekend, looking good. The past couple weeks is looking good. It looks like he's going to, he wins the pole or he's up there top 4. He's a consensus favorite play in the industry. Why not? Let's pick him. Everyone hauls. I think I went 30-40% on him. And that day I learned my lesson. Do not go overweight on the first 2 positions. I cannot say it again. For me, like I think you said, one lineup in 50, you're going to have Dale Jr. Is that correct?
I got him in 2. Yep.
2. All right. I'm going to do one better. I'll have him in 1.
Yeah.
Just because he does have that potential to dominate the race. He has that potential. He's the best restrictor plate driver out there. I still think he is. There's probably some other guys that would disagree, but he's got Chase Elliott beside of him, and I can, what's going to happen here is he's probably going to jump ahead or jump in front of Chase, and they're just going to sit there and cruise. They're going to cruise for I don't know how many laps before I guess Keselowski and Logano get hooked up and go to the front. But here's the thing. He starts first. Let's not even talk about, theory not. If he wrecks, you're not done.
It's done. It doesn't matter how many laps he leads. It's done.
So let's say the casual DFS player, that doesn't watch NASCAR, doesn't know much about it, then they're just picking drivers. Let's say, they put 40%.
He's going to be 40%.
Yeah.
I almost guarantee it.
Here's what's going to happen. He's going to look good. He obviously he shows a lot of good stuff early in the race. You're sitting there thinking, "Oh man, I got this. Everyone says he's going to do bad and all this stuff. I've taken advantage of this." When he wrecks, and you're up there cashing in all your lineups just because smarter players don't have him. What happens? What's going to happen is when he wrecks, 40% of your knot's done for. And that's a huge chunk of money that you put into all your contests. But once again, the top 2 positions, we cannot say it enough. We cannot stress it enough. Do not have more than 5 to 10% of them.
No. Yeah.
Statistics show that it's a rare case. Sometimes if the pole winner, he leads a bunch of laps and he wins the race, obviously, he may have a chance finishing top 5 DFS day. But odds are it's Dale Jr. He's had bad luck. Odds are he's just going to wreck. And when he's going to be 40% owned, oh my gosh.
I honestly think so, though. Like, just think him, just the name alone, he is way higher owned every week than he should be. And you put him here, his last time here, and he's starting on the pole, and all the casual fans think, oh, I got to play the pole sitter.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. This is going to be like, he's going to be criminally overowned.
And here's the thing. I was watching SportsCenter earlier. SportsCenter, they don't even talk about NASCAR anymore, but what happens? Dale Jr. comes on there.
Oh, yeah.
It's Daytona. If you don't – the fans that don't even watch NASCAR, they're going to see that. I'm not trying to connect things, but Daytona and the Earnhardt name, that's the thing in NASCAR.
No doubt.
That's the history of NASCAR in one word, basically. Dale Earnhardt. The Earnhardt name at Daytona. That's the big, big thing. And like I said, if he's 40% owned, I'm going to have – normally I would run only like 10 lineups, but I'm going to make sure I spread my exposure to not. I'm going to have upwards of 20, 30, 40 lineups I'm going to put them in the roster generator over at Fantasy Degens, and I'm going to spit out a bunch of lineups, and hopefully it works. So I think we can close that with him.
Yeah.
It's just so many people. I mean, it's just going to be crazy to see 40. It's going to be upwards of 35-40%. I don't guarantee it.
I will be shocked if it's not. Just for this scenario. I mean, look, listen what I just said. Talladega, Stenhouse won from the pole and was not in a winning GPP lineup. What more do you need? It just happened a month and a half ago.
What more can you say? Okay, we're just going to try to quickly touch base on these guys real fast here. So, Chase Elliott, if you guys are following Wills on Twitter, DK Wills, Michael Willer, he puts out a chart most of the time, and it shows the second place. If you start P2, it's the worst position to start from statistically at Daytona. So when I look at that and I see Chase Elliott, he's probably going to be just like Dale Earnhardt, or he's probably going to be like Junior. He's going to be 20-30% owned. You're going to see starting second. Second place has a curse here. So if you're watching this and he, hits the fence and wrecks tonight, just remember P2, worst statistically starting spot here in DFS.
0.
Do not play Chase Elliott. Do not.
0.
I would play Junior before I would play Chase Elliott.
Yes. Oh, 100%. Are you kidding me? 100%. I will have 0 Chase Elliott.
There you have it. Yeah, so Brad Keselowski, there was like the people that contacted me on Twitter earlier had Brad Keselowski in their lineups. Man, I see his finishing positions here. He seems to do really good here. He seems to lead laps. Why wouldn't you pick him? I mean, like we said, place differential. He starts third. If he wrecks, it's the same argument with these top 5 guys, top 10.
Yeah, exactly.
Kevin Harvick, same way. Definitely don't play Casey Kane. He's like Chase Elliott. You cannot trust Casey Kane. So don't even think about playing Casey Kane.
No. Here, how about this? I'll go down the list and tell you who I have 0 of. 0, not even 1.
All right, starting with
Chase
Kevin
Elliott.
Harvick.
Huh?
Yeah, start with Kevin Harvick.
Okay,
first.
So and go backwards from like 5 to 14.
Yeah.
Okay. 0 Kevin Harvick. 0 Stenhouse. 1 out of 50 lineups Joey Logano. 0 McMurray. 1 out of 50 Blaney. 0 Danica. 1 out of 50 Clint. 1 out of 50 Jimmy. 1 out of 50 Kenseth. And 0 Trevor Bayne. And I'm not kidding.
I don't know what more I could add to that.
Like literally.
I would have, when I see that 21 car, I automatically want to put him in like 6 or 7 lineups. But
don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I will be doing maybe 2, 3 tops. He's probably got a good chance at winning the race, but obviously, he's not going to have enough points to win you a GPP or help you cash. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with definitely Danica goes in the same argument as Casey Kane. Do not even think about playing her. Clint Boyer, Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, very sneaky plays. They start maybe far enough back where, they could, if they lead some laps and finish up there, they could sneak into your lineup maybe. That's no guarantee.
Right.
So, I mean, I think Jimmy Johnson's going to be more on than he should. So, I mean, what can we say? We've said the same thing about so many drivers, so. That being said, I think we're going to close this out.
Yeah, man.
I want to thank you guys for watching this. We're going to pick our race winner real fast and most DK points, which most DK points is this week it's just throwing a dart at the wall, basically. But We'll start with most DK points. Who do you have scoring the most fantasy points?
Ty Dillon with a top 5 finish.
We're at the top 5.
Fifth.
All right. Let's see. You know what? Give me the Red Rocket Cole Witt.
Yeah, see, exactly. It's the same premise.
Yep. I think he'll come in the top 10. In a week that he should be a little bit higher on than what he probably will be.
Yeah.
That's who I'm going to pick because he's shown that he can survive and he's shown that he can race with these guys here at this track. That's enough for me. And let's see. I'm going to go ahead and pick my race winner. And I've done pretty good at picking these race winners. I'm on a cold streak lately. But the guy that I'm going to pick to win the race following this year's, first-time winners, I'm going to say Eric Jones wins his first race. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me how. I think he can hang up there, top 10, when they're single file with like 10 to go. Hopefully, there's not a caution that takes everyone out. But I think he can do it. I think you can have the same argument for everybody here.
Yep.
But he's got enough respect, as I talked about earlier. He's known as one of the up-and-comers. And he's got one of the best teammates in the business in Mark Truex. What more do you need to win one of these races other than support good teammates?
Yep.
So who do you have winning this race?
I think it would be so cool and so confusing for everybody if Bubba Wallace wins this race. I'm not picking him to win, but like, what would they do? Honestly, like, would they put him in the car for the chase? What the hell would happen?
Yeah, that hurts my brain even thinking about it.
I just think something like that would be pretty cool. But my honest pick to win, and again, this is a total crapshoot. If anybody, even if I pick the winner and they win, it's to a complete crap. So we're just saying names. Denny Hamlin.
Good pick.
So that's really it, though.
Pure luck. That's all. If you have luck and you have teammates here, that's all you need.
And let me preface that by saying I do think that Junior is going to win the race. But I honestly do think he's going to win the race. I do. But, like, I want to pick someone other than Junior. Because for me, that's too easy. You got to have a little fun here. I do really think that Junior wins the race. And I don't think he's in the winning lineup.
You think he's in the top 6 DFS?
I don't. Nope.
Scores?
Nope. I think it's a top 10 day, but it's not top 6, and I think you're gonna have to have 6 of the top 7 scores to win a GPP tonight. So I think he lands anywhere from 9 to 10. I just don't see him leading enough laps to get it done. But I do think he wins the race because I'm not saying that NASCAR is fixed and they will not give him an easy time. I promise you that. No one's going to move out of the way so he wins the race. I promise you that. But at the same time, they know what this would mean.
Yeah.
They're not going to intentionally lift, but they're not going to run him. 100% as hard. No one's going to wreck him tonight.
Oh, yeah.
No one is going to wreck him.
If you wreck Dale Earnhardt Jr. tonight, you will instantly be the most hated driver in NASCAR.
Oh, can you imagine? Especially if somebody wrecks him while he's leading the race. Oh my gosh, would people hate them?
Just let AJ Allmendinger go up there and do that.
God. Oh my God. It's gonna be fun tonight, though. I hope they get the race in. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'd be so cool to watch him win tonight. I mean, just watching that replay of him, the other day winning his 500 in 2004, like, that's awesome. I love that, and this will be one of those moments for him tonight if he wins this race. So,
yeah, no doubt about it, and I'm pulling for him. Like I said, it's not going to hurt my DFS day if he wins. I don't think it's I'm not going to win anything by him winning or losing. So,
Nope.
let's just, as a NASCAR fan, like PJ said, it'd be awesome to see him go out like this. This is probably his last chance to get in the chase. I firmly do believe that.
Yeah,
So,
it's getting there.
I just can't imagine the nerves he's going to have tonight. When he straps up, he flicks the switch, engine starts, he leads them to lap 1. It's the butterflies that's going to be in his stomach.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, but the fans are going to go crazy, as they should.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have any last thoughts, advice before we head out here?
I don't. I think we nailed it pretty good. Like, just trust that, like, this is the way, I promise you, to be successful at restrictor plates. We kind of laid it out for you. Don't get cute. Don't be afraid to leave money. It is what it is. And build some lineups. Have fun. Here's my one advice for the whole race, for the whole night. Do not look at your winnings at any point tonight until the checkered flag is thrown. Don't do it. You're going to kill yourself looking at that all night. Don't do it.
Yeah. For me, I think one time last year, I think it was at Talladega, I was upwards of 10K, and I'd only entered like $300. Last lap crash, and I think I may have got $20 back. So
it's painful.
Yeah, it is. And
don't do it.
I think that's great. That might be the best advice tonight. Normally at the tracks you can get a good idea. About 50 to go. 50 to go here is like 2 hour and a half worth of racing, and all hell will break loose with 30 to go. So
just enjoy it.
Yeah, just enjoy it. I mean, this is always Daytona, Talladega. These are if you're not a NASCAR fan and you don't watch it week to week, and you might turn on the last 5 laps, I would highly encourage you to watch this whole race, because it's not going to be boring. There's going to be something happen, and your DFS lineups are probably going to go out the window, and you're just going to be like, why did I play? Yeah. But that's the fun of it. Enjoy it. Enjoy the race, because it's going to be awesome, and you might get to see some history with Dale Jr. winning. So,
exactly.
With that being said, if you guys have any more questions, hit us up on Twitter. I'm at RotoRacer. PJ is at PJFrapDFS. Tweet at the Sports Force. One of us will get to it. I'll forward it to him if he doesn't see it. So, that being said, we're heading out. I got some lineups to build. Got to put some more in the roster gen and enter some more GPPs. So
there you go.
We will see you next week, hopefully. I've got a new job, and it's so crazy what I've got to do. But hopefully, I'm not going to guarantee you I can do a show next week, but we will have something out. I'll do my best to get a show out. But like I said, it's been hectic here the past couple weeks. But like I said, if you got any questions, hit us up on Twitter, and we will do our best. So good luck, guys, and we will see you next time.
Absolutely. Good luck, guys.